Hi everyone. Obviously we're gonna be watching the technical presentation thing about. It's probably gonna be the PS5 Pro. I'm gonna be honest here. FYI, I'm not great at pre-recorded content. So yeah, generally I think this is gonna be the PS5 Pro. I don't think this is gonna have any games. If it does have a game, then it might just be a game that they will show off to show how technical the PS5 Pro is. You want my honest opinion before this whole thing kind of starts? I do think that a PS5 Pro, I understand why it's going to exist, but at the same time, I don't think we really need it. I think the PS5 itself is still very technologically advanced. It's way too early in the morning for this. But yeah. So pretty much that's what I personally think. And now time skip. And we're back. Isn't time cuts a wonderful thing you can do in editing? It's wonderful. Anyway, we have about like 20 seconds left. Let's see if I'm right if this is the PlayStation 5 Pro, and everyone else is right online too. I don't know what games they would show up. Maybe like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth running on the thing. Maybe Ghost of Tsushima. If they have any big announcements, I would be very surprised, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Maybe another glimpse of GTA 6.
I'm Mark Cerny. I'm excited to be here to talk about the newest addition to our console lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yeah, we already know this.
Gaming technology. But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5 and how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience. When PS5 debuted in 2020, it brought a lot to the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5 and enable high-speed complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds and frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second. PS5 has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything from intricate details to fantastic worlds with vast panoramic.
That game is so beautiful, even now.
Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass, and the realism that comes from real-time global illumination.
Oh, I was like, what the hell?
Custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions between game worlds and data streaming rates so high that traversal speeds are essentially unlimited.
Okay, I'm working on it.
Tempest 3D audio tech brings an unparalleled.
Hey, look, it's Demon's Souls. We just finished this too.
With audio
Well, a few months ago, but still.
We
Still need to play this game.
Exactly where they are. Finally, the DualSense controller has haptics that let you feel through your hand what your character is experiencing inside of
Hey, it's a game that everyone else likes that I'm iffy on.
Such variety and richness
But I did finish it,
experiences.
by the way.
Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance. The dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players.
Not for me. Just give me performance.
Through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing.
Fidelity mode.
But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity, typically choosing to run at 60 frames per second. Mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved.
You really don't notice that though.
Mode, players are choosing performance about 3/4 of the time. Removing that decision, or at least narrowing that divide, is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro.
That's
We
interesting.
want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the Big 3. First, we made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses. The result is rendering that's up to 45% faster.
That's actually impressive a little bit.
Major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short.
So
PSSR analyzes the
okay,
game
so this
images
is
pixel by
DLSS.
pixel and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution of the games.
So it doesn't hinder the hinder the performance.
And with the Big 3 involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but it doubled the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per second. Let's compare this to the fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier. This goal of delivering almost fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5.
I want to know where
Another
this
way to compare
fits
the two consoles is
specifically.
to look at PS5 Pro versus Performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second. What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5. For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet & Clank. Distant details are much clearer. And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene, including the trees and procedural cars.
Yeah, it does.
So overall, some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness to the graphics, more smoother and more responsive gameplay. This is the Big 3 showing their value. As you've been seeing, machine learning via the PSSR library is being used quite
DLSS,
broadly to add pixel detail and boost
deep
frame
learning
rate.
simple sampling.
But
That's
there are
pretty
many
much their
approaches as large
version
game
of that.
engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon.
I'm really
Forbidden
curious
West.
about that on
Apart from the
how
detail boost, that extra
because it
graphics
uses
power
liquid
is
metal.
allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects, as well
also-
as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys. Dwarf's orders.
Still have not played this game. I played Horizon Zero
Ray
Dawn. That was a
tracing is
great
finding
game, though.
broad usage as well, particularly when the games are focused on higher frame rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference, allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay. While
Surprised they
continuing to
even
support
mentioned
their
this game.
targeted 60 frames per second. That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy.
That's pretty,
allowing
though.
Not only for better reflections and a greater variety.
That's
of reflective
really
surfaces,
pretty,
but
though.
Also for further realism in the cast.
I played it on PC, but this game's still
I hope
super
you've enjoyed
pretty.
this run through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro. Simply put, it's the most powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
You'll never.
Okay, yep, that's the leak image that we saw. What if it's gonna be smaller? Man, that game is so good. Fun.
It'll be worth it.
Okay.
That's a scene. Hell yeah. Okay. I've been saying this for so long that they just don't acknowledge Souls games, and they're finally acknowledging Demon Souls being an actual game. What was that? Looked like The Last of Us, but might be Death Stranding. The Stellar Blade. That's Dragon's Dogma. Alan Wake 2. $700. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Okay, so here's my honest opinion, unless there's something at the end here, and I edit that in later. But here's my honest opinion. So I said in the beginning that do we really need a PS5 Pro? I don't think we do. But like the system is a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be about $599. I thought it would be $100 more than the base PlayStation 5. I thought that was going to be a thing. But being at $700, can I go back here? So being at it's coming out November 7th. Being at $700 is a very pricey tag for people, but I understand what I understand why the PS5 Pro is existing. It's because even Mark Cerny even said that they have the data that more people are picking performance mode over the graphical than the graphic mode, fidelity mode. So that does make a lot of sense that if you are more interested in the fidelity mode over the performance mode, now you can have the best of both worlds, having the performance with the fidelity, and having henceforth DLSS, that their own version of DLSS. That I know some people are going to say, well, it's AI. That's fine. They're going to use AI properly to just enhance the game, and that's it. These games already exist. Fine. That's fine. But they are pretty much making their own DLSS. They're doing things to make this system more appealing for... This is not for the casual audience. I'm going to be honest. This is not for the casual audience, right? This is for the people that play a lot of fucking video games on a constant basis. I mean, if you're going from all the games they're showing, Spider-Man 2, Demon Souls, Returnal, Alan Wake, Death Stranding, Days Gone, you're playing all these style of games. To even the point, Hogwarts Legacy, or The Witcher 3, or Cyberpunk 2077. This console is going to be able to do a lot more, and that is what the target audience for this system is going to be. Do I think it's going to run off shelves like the normal PS5? No. I do think the PS5 Slim is going to be the preferred console for a lot of people, because one, it's still only $500. This is $200 more than the base PS5. I know people are going to get outraged with the pricing of this for $700, but like I am saying, this is not for the casual audience. This is for the people that play a lot of video games at once and rather have the performance, more performance, to be able to do what they want to with their console, and on top of it have just better looking graphics at the same time. If this is not for you, you're probably going to pick up the PS5. Yes, I'm going to be honest. Yes, the CPU, GPU is bigger, CPU, whatever, it's in the system. I understand that. This is obviously just a more powerful system than we have seen. But I'm going to diverge for a second and talk about Microsoft on this point. Microsoft is not doing an Xbox Pro so far that we know of, unless it's going to get released next year. But I feel like next year's too like late in the console market. While this is more in the middle of what with the PlayStation 5 Pro, this is more in the middle of the console generation because it is getting released this year. It is 4 years after the fact the PS5, original PS5, the base PS5 came out. And we already know the PlayStation 6 is going to be coming out in 2028, probably at the tail end of 2028. So this does give the PS5 Pro 4 years of a life cycle, and that's perfectly fine, and indicating it would give the PlayStation 5 8 years on the market, and that's perfectly fine too. To pretty much wrap this whole entire video up before I just keep blundering and everything else, my personal opinion is, am I going to buy this system? Probably not. I do like performance a lot better, but I'm not a graphics person. If I'm going to play the game on the best graphics setting, I have a PC that is able to do that. Yes, my V2 model does not like it at all, but I am able to play these games at a very high graphical setting. So this doesn't bother me at all. I am fine at playing these games on the base PS5 in performance mode and be perfectly fine with it. Now, I will definitely say once other YouTubers come out, and start doing how difference between the frame rates and the graphic settings between the Pro and the base PS4, base PS5, I mean, is, then there, maybe once it goes down a little bit in price, maybe from 700, maybe down to 600, I would definitely consider, buying a Pro version of this console. I think that would make a lot of sense in that aspect. But I'm also a person that, talking from my own side, that I ran with the base PS4 since 2015 to all the way until last year, whenever I finally bought the PS5. That's just how I kind of work. So, henceforth, I know people are going to be mad at the pricing. I don't think the pricing is outrageous. If they are saying what they are doing with pretty much, like I said, DLSS, better graphic mode, better performance, all this stuff that they're doing, a $700 price tag is really good, especially on if they are trying to get to at least high settings on a PC. That is definitely a win. That is definitely a win. I don't know if it's going to be that high, but yeah. Also, I just noticed this. The vertical stand is sold separately. So I guess if you want the vertical stand, I bet you they're going to give you the stand for it. I'm also really curious about I'm going to talk about this. This design is very interesting because they're giving you slits right here, right? They're giving you air and pocket slits from both sides. And then there's more air coming in from this side. And I think the reason why they're doing this, because I know, like, the heat sink inside the PlayStation 5 Slim is a lot smaller than the base PS5. Hell, even the PS5 I have, the heat sink is a lot smaller than the actual first release console of the PS5. I'm wondering if this is because of with the CPU or GPU, whatever, being more, being bigger and being able to handle a lot more, it does make me wonder if this is for heating issues. And because the PS5 does not have water coolant in it, henceforth, I do think the Xbox Series X has water coolant in it, if I'm remembering right. So they're trying to get enough air, so they're going to have air coming through this way, out the back, and then on the sides. And then you're going to have the liquid metal that's going to be fucking everywhere. And I'm really curious on how this system is going to work out. I do think don't buy, like, if you're going to buy this on day one, that's fine. I would say wait a little bit, wait until some of the problems are sorted out with this. But that's pretty much all I have to say about this whole system. I think it's really cool that they're doing this again. I think that it makes a lot of sense to keep doing this because, you know, we're still 4 years out until the PlayStation 6 comes out, and it does seem like that Sony is listening to the fan base finally, on what is really going on with the games that they are producing. So that being said, this is the PlayStation 5 Pro Technical Presentation hosted by Mark Cerny. I had a lot to say about this. Remind you, this whole thing was only supposed to be like 9 minutes long, but I do have a lot of things I personally wanted to say about this system and so on and so forth. But anyway, thank you for watching this this video. I'm not used to doing pre-recorded content that's not on stream, but thank you for watching. I hope everyone has a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, and I'll catch you all in the next video. That could be a VOD from my streams, or that could be my next reaction, probably from my streams, or whatever pops up. So, bye! Hello everyone, if you like this video then don't hesitate to check out the channel, where I upload my playthroughs, thoughts on games, and many other videos based around video games. If you want to see when the next video goes up, then don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. Hope everyone has a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye!